Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started. I know that lots of you have just gotten your food, and I'm going to encourage you to continue to eat. And but at this time, we'd like to make a few introductions and then get on our way. We always promise that this will end at a certain time, and it gets a little bit long for folks because they want to comment, and I want us to have that time. The most important aspect of today is what everybody's comments are about it, what they've learned, and who they've met as a result of this event. Higher education is an event that we started 6 years ago in collaboration with CTE. And Kathy Jo helped us get that started, and we've just grown it and expanded it in a lot of different ways. But basically, what we felt like we needed to do is to explore and to inform and to experience business and industry with our educators. Because after all, who is it that our kids listen to more than they listen to us as their parents? And more than they even listen to their friends, it's the educators. They are such important leaders for our community. And we wanted to be able to help them cast the vision for what opportunity is here in Caldwell County. Now, you've all heard me say at some point or another, Caldwell County has changed more since the Great Recession than it has in its entire 177-year history. And is that true to all of you who went on our tours with us this week? Yes? Absolutely it is. And we see it, but it's hard to share that. Our educators are the ones who inspire our young people. And this is just a perfect opportunity to finish it with you being here and educators sharing what they learned on their industry tours this week. Part of the secret to our success in Caldwell County are our partnerships. And so if you're part of our workforce development team, would you please stand? Come on. All right, this is our workforce development team, and these guys work with us on everything, and I want you to give them a big round of applause, please. If you are here and you are an educator, and you are with Caldwell County Schools, just Caldwell County Schools educators, we'll get to community college in a minute, would you please stand? Now, I also want to point out that this will be one of the last times that we see our sitting superintendent, Dr. Steve Stone. So thank you, sir, for your support of this event and these folks sharing this time with us. And we've got school board members here. If you would stand. I know you just did stand, but stand again. There you go. Ann and Dottie, thank you very much. If you are with the community college, would you please stand? Thank you. Now, those people are the most important to me when we're recruiting because I call them MacGyver Ed, and they get in there and do whatever it is we need them to do to help with our business and industry, and it's super, super important. Pretty good example of what this collaboration is like came about as a result of an independent effort, but it sure represents what partnership is all about. And that is this morning earlier, there was a group that toured Fairfield Chair, and Alvin Daughtridge had asked several of us to attend that, and we said we can't. We're a little preoccupied. Why don't you join us? And so I'd like to invite John Loyak with the EDPNC to come up and say a word about what they did and who all is here and introduce that team as well. It's so important to us.
Thank you, Deborah. And I'll begin by saying that I'm representing a number of different groups here that are based all around the state. And first and foremost, we can't do what we do, and we don't know the things that we need to know unless we have good relationships with our local partners. And so, Deborah, I just wanted to say thank you for the fantastic relationship we have, the support that you provide us, and the feedback you give us. It makes our lives very easier and allows us to be much more productive. So today we had a group from all over the state. We had folks from Mitchell County, we had folks from Wake County, who all came here because there is a federal program that's referred to as the Manufacturing Extension Partnership. And this is something that our leaders in DC look to us on a state level to find out what it is that manufacturers need. What are the struggles that they're dealing with? And so this group of people will get together and work together. These are folks from NC State's Industry Expansion Solutions team. There are folks from the community college. There are folks from my organization, the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina. And so, Alvin, thank you very much for taking such good care of us today on the tour. We learned an awful lot about furniture, and it was absolutely amazing to see not the inside of a corporation, but really what to me felt like seeing the inside of a family, and to see the relationships and to see plant managers who can refer to everybody on the floor by their first name, and who knows the competitions that exist between different employees. It was absolutely amazing. I'll close quickly just by making a few introductions today. So Rick Shue is with us. Rick is with called the community college, doing a lot around customized training here in the county. One of my favorite assets that a lot of people don't know about is the Manufacturing Solutions Center. And Dan St. Louis and Tony Whitener are here. They joined us. I like to tell people, if you need to know whether or not a fabric is flame retardant, you call these gentlemen. If you'd like to see furniture tested and weight and strength testing, you call these gentlemen. They've got an absolutely amazing facility in Conover. Phil Mintz, who's not with us, is a part of the College of Engineering at NC State, another partner who was with us earlier. Ed Troja from the North Carolina Chamber joined us. They are a fantastic policy partner who want to know what are the things that are impacting business and how can we work with our General Assembly to make things better. I give them a huge amount of credit for things like lowering the corporate tax rate here in the state. So a very important partner for us as well. We also reach out to federal partners, and so we have two members of Senator Tillis's office here. James and Jordan are here at the front table as well, and I can attest to the fact that if anyone needs a passport expedited, there is no better team in the state to have. So I thank them for all that they do and the good work that Senator Tillis is doing to represent the state of North Carolina and DC. And finally, members of my team. The Economic Development Partnership is probably largely known for the massive ribbon cuttings we have. And so when we get the governor out to introduce a new business, it's usually a wonderful event. The newspapers will cover the millions of dollars of incentives that were offered to introduce a new business. And on a day like that, if I'm coming out to meet with Alvin, I'll typically run into a business owner who will say to me, well, John, that's great what you're doing for Amazon or Apple or whoever else it might be, but my business has been here for 100 years. What are you doing for me? And so I'm here to say that we do an awful lot. We work in partnership with all the groups that I've mentioned, but we have within the Economic Development Partnership in North Carolina a number of assets that are focused on existing industry. And so Liz Isley, who's here, and Mike Hubbard. Liz is our furniture export lead for the state of North Carolina. Mike leads our international trade team. He's the director of international trade. These are folks who many of you will be surprised to know have 6 international offices at their fingertips. So any of your businesses that need help with issues in places like Shanghai, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Mexico City, Toronto, London, giving us coverage for all of Europe, Dubai, we actually have...
I'm a product of Caldwell County Schools, so we're really excited to show you what we learned. Oh, I was trying to jump ahead of Paul. Sorry. And we would like to invite y'all to sit down. Thank you so much for introducing yourselves. I was a little concerned about introducing Lure, if you want. That's truly. Oh.
Yeah, just do it this way.
Okay. Oh, and I tend to speak really loudly, so I may not need the mic. Okay, I'm pretty loud. I project. So we had some aha moments. We noticed that students need mathematics skills. They need basic math. They need to know how to read a ruler. They need to have basic communication skills. Parents and students need more information from the workplace. That's what we gathered from our time out in your industry. There are so many opportunities here. There are many opportunities for great pay, benefits, tuition reimbursements. You can work your way up. You can start at the bottom level, and you can manage a plant. You can buy into the company. It was really, really exciting to see this. Also, the diversity of products in this county was astounding. I did not know. And I'm from Caldwell County, and I'm so thankful to now know what is made here. It's wonderful. Go ahead.
Okay. So as you have heard already, and most of you are well aware, our students need to go into the workforce with strong soft skills to be quality employees, and that's going to have to be a focus for all of us as we move into the future. One thing that struck me last night once I got home from visiting all of these businesses was the incredible pride that we saw in every business that we entered over the last 2 days. These people were very proud of their company, they were very proud of their product, and they had very high expectations for themselves and everyone else who was working around them, and that was heartwarming. That, to me, was the most that we could ask for to have in businesses in our area. And something else that really impressed me the very first morning, I had no idea how wonderful CCC and TI really is. I knew they were great, but they are so responsive to the needs of the businesses in Caldwell County. They create programs and courses to directly train our kids and our workforce in Caldwell County, and that is such a tremendous source. And so I'm very thankful to the community college for all that they're doing for our kids and our workforce in our county. But there is a gap between what's going on in the businesses, what's going on in the school system, and even in the homes where our children are raised. My fear is that many of our parents are still in the 2010 mindset and are just not aware of all of the positive and the growth that's going on in Caldwell County. And so we are going to have to bridge that gap. We're going to have to communicate with our children, with their parents, so that we can change that mindset in the coming years.
Yes, it's Misty again.
Okay, sorry. But we did see some very common issues that the school system is dealing with on a daily basis that the businesses are also struggling with. Number one is attendance. Number two is technology. We love technology, but teaching our kids the correct usage of technology is very, very important. What's appropriate and what is not. A cell phone may be a tool for social media, but it is also a wonderful educational tool, and we have to teach our kids how to use their devices in the best methods. And the other problem we're all dealing with is, how do we really reach the millennial generation? Who are these people? They're not like us. And so we're all struggling to figure out what drives them. What do they care about? What motivates them? And so once we can all figure that out, then we better know how to teach them, we know how to employ them, and we know how to motivate them to get the very best out of them.
Great. So what will benefit students? We have to ensure that they graduate with those skills that they need. The reading and the math that we heard this week from all of you. Make sure that students learn to utilize formal communication. Not everything is a text message. We have to give them problem-based learning. We have to let them learn to solve these problems. I heard that every visit. There are problems and they must solve them. Critical thinking, they have to have that. We talked about mentorships, relationships along those lines, and two-way communication between industry and education. That's really optimal if we can talk with each other like we are today. And then someone had mentioned in our group about having possibly classroom level educators talking with you guys in the industry. Okay, Paul. And we felt like we might need to renew some of our partnerships between schools and industry. And getting in there, we talked about earlier, parent involvement is higher at a younger age for our students, and getting those parents engaged with what we want for their students and getting them on board so that they know what the opportunities are for those kids. Oh, it's your turn. Sorry.
As we listen to our business leaders talk about their companies, they need well-rounded employees. They need people who can solve problems themselves. And thinking about this from an educational side, we need to provide an education to our students that is relevant to the world around them. And we need to challenge every student. We think about all the levels of kids that we teach. We can't leave rigor out with a single child. Our lowest kids are challenged every day in every class. But we have to make sure that our strongest, brightest, most gifted kids are challenged every day as well. Because if we don't offer that opportunity to them, and this is where my heart is, I'm sorry, but if we don't challenge them, if we don't push our brightest kids, how will they ever be able to lead business? How will they be creative leaders in our community as we want them to be? So that has to be every day in every classroom with our kids, relevance and rigor. And we have technology all over our school system, and I'm proud to say that Hudson Middle, we will be one-to-one technology in the fall. But we have to use our technology in the right way. We heard about businesses creating their own programs and using their iPads to keep up with their inventory every minute of every day. We cannot just use our technology as electronic worksheets, that we're just asking kids to do the same thing in an electronic format that we were doing 30 years ago on a copy sheet of paper. We have to use our technology to have kids creating, synthesizing, creating authentic products. And honestly, we have to give them the opportunity to fail. And we have to teach them how to overcome failure and setbacks so that we teach them how to succeed and how to endure in the workplace so they don't just quit and say, I'm done, I can't do it. So thank you very, very much for this opportunity. It is something that has had a tremendous impact on all of us and will for years to come, so thank you.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Ethan Oswald. I teach Math 1 and 2 at the Middle College, and we'll just go down and introduce ourselves.
My name is Nicole West. I teach social studies at the Middle College also.
I'm Chad Parker. I teach the Project Lead the Way program at Hudson Middle School.
I'm Kelly Massey, and I teach business at William Lenore Middle School.
And I'm Mike Vaughn. I teach just about everything they've ever offered at Happy Valley.
All right, so one of the first things we realized was how much Caldwell has grown over the past 8-9 years. Unemployment is low. It's at 3.6%, down from a high of 17% in 2010. We also, of course, learned that a lot of people's perceptions, including our parents and students, are more aligned with 2010 than now. And this is all part of the rebounding effect. It's just that the awareness is lagging behind what's actually happening. Almost every major manufacturing company that we were able to tour and heard welcomes from need people, 10 or more. Nobody that we toured said that they couldn't hire 10 people today. We had some that said we can hire 50 by next week and still be all right. We have another opening in a whole other building. They said we can handle 100 in the next year. But we can't fill them. The companies are hiring and promoting in-house. They are allowing these entry-level positions to rise to the highest levels. And they're willing to train in-house. They're willing to pay for the training, send them wherever they need to go to get the training, have them go to the community college to take specialized courses that the community college has so graciously developed programs for them to do so they can become a skilled in the trade. And then what they need for this, though, you've heard this before, a few other presentations, but basically they need a wide variety of skills. They need to be diverse in what they can do. They don't need assembly line individuals that run and they stand at one position all day long and do one task over and over and over again. They need a person that they can have on this machine running this product with this setup on Monday, and then if they need, switch that person on Thursday to run a completely different machine with a different setup, running different codes, making a whole different product so they can keep up. Because there's so much automation in these industries now that the type of job has changed. The need for the job has not. But what the person is expected to be able to do and how many things that person is expected to be able to do has vastly changed. The math skills have been hit on before, good attendance and passion. So believing in the company that believes in them. It was unanimous among all 6 tours that we took. Every single company believes in its employees. They take great pride in their employees. They want to invest in their employees. They just have to make sure that the new hires will return their investment, because it's not, they have to have that. They can't just keep training and keep sending and keep doing this. That's all expenditure. They can't keep doing that if the person stops working for them before the end of 2 or 3 months. Now, segueing to what we think we can do to help in our classes, and this is very specific, so each one of us kind of made a summary statement of what we think we can do in the current classes that we teach at our current locations. And I'll let us go in this order. So I'll let Nicole go first.
All right, I am Nicole West. I do teach social studies. So for me to apply what we have learned in the industries to my classroom, cell phone use, technology use, how should our students use them in a classroom? I work at the middle college, so it is very technology heavy. We use Chromebooks, we use phones, we do PowerPoints, research, everything constantly. So how do we apply that? Teaching the students, okay, this is what we're doing, not looking at a video, we are researching. You need to take an important phone call, you need to text your mom, you need your lunch. That's fine, step out of the classroom. There is a time to use it. You can ask or request a time to use it. It is not all the time. Do not have it out. I don't want to see Snapchat, Instagram, whatever it is you're using. Yes, you can talk to your parents or whatever. What else? I also, sometimes students may ask me a question that I don't know the answer to. Fine, pull out your cell phone, look it up real quick. A couple of you Google it, see what you get. That's an appropriate use. That is us learning together. That is sharing the information. Handwriting, that is something that we wouldn't think would be an issue. But at our school, again, we are so heavy in technology, we type everything. We have spell check, we have Grammarly. The students don't have to know how to spell. They don't know how to write a complete sentence. So every now and then, instead of saying, hey, let's type up this summary of what we learned today, let's handwrite it. Yes, that's simple. That's something we can throw in. Yes, this time I'm going to grade you on the use of there, there, and there. Did you write it properly? I'm going to check your punctuation. These are things that we think should be common sense, but they're not. Group work. Looking at group work, we do a lot of group work in social studies, especially when I teach world history, because it is the entire world's history in 90 days. Is it possible to cover everything if I'm the only one talking? No. So group work, learning how to work together, learning how to pick up someone's slack, learning that because this person's a great artist and you're doing a PowerPoint doesn't mean you can't use them. Use their skills, use their the things that they value to your advantage. And so there's a lot of group work that we heard talked about and being able to get along. So that's something that I would take with me from this. Thank you.
Again, I'm Ethan Oswald. I also teach at the middle college, and I teach Math 1 and 2. The things that I wanted to hit on was actually potentially adding a unit within my classes that I would term something along the lines of life math, because that is the question that math teachers get all the time. When am I ever going to use this ever again? I don't even know why it exists, right? And so if I had this unit and developed it around what I think they don't know, such as reading a ruler, because I teach fractions, right? That's part of the curriculum. How to add them, subtract them, multiply them, divide them, all that. But I don't show them what a fraction is on a ruler. I just use the fractions pulled out of context, hoping that they can apply the fractions in a context. But that was something I learned today. They don't know how to actually look at a ruler divided into 16ths and actually tell you what the measurement is, for example. The other thing I don't think that my students understand is what benefits are as a whole. If I asked them to define what benefits are, I don't think they could tell me, or what that means. They just look at, what do I make? That's it. I'm going to make this much this week. I have no idea what's the life insurance look like, how much is it going to cost for my family to be insured, what is a pension? I have no idea. What is a pension? What is a 401k? How does that work? What does it mean to match what I put in a 401k? The percentages associated with that. What's the difference? What does it mean to have money invested in a 401k before taxes versus after taxes? What's the impact? So that unit and covering that type of material, I think brings relevance for me and some knowledge for you.
In my business class, I look to develop partnerships. And this past fall, I reached out to Krista Bridgewood at Bemis, and she graciously came to my classroom on several different occasions. She brought some of her coworkers, and she helped me. I teach job-seeking skills and employability skills. And she helped me when I taught the kids how to do a cover letter, fill out job applications, resumes. She and her coworkers even helped me do mock interviews, which I think is very important to these kids. And I came into this looking to develop some new business partnerships. So don't be surprised if I pick up the phone and give some of you a call.
I'm Chad Parker, as I said earlier, and I teach Project Lead the Way at Hudson Middle School. For most of you, I'm sure, or for a lot of you, I should say, you probably don't know what Project Lead the Way is because it's something that was not traditionally in school and most of us went through. Project Lead the Way is a curriculum that's based on the STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, and math. And I've always enjoyed Project Lead the Way once I started it because I think it's very relevant in today's society. And these visits to these 6 companies really hammered that home. Everywhere I went, in some fashion, it was science, technology, engineering, or math. Or maybe all 4, maybe 3 of the 4, but in some fashion, it was present everywhere. So I think what I need to do is, when I get back to my class next year, reemphasize to them that these classes or these modules that you're taking in my class are very relevant to the workforce today. And I can give them examples of these businesses that I've gone to and the things that I saw and witnessed versus what I'm teaching. I think they go really hand in hand. A lot of the skills that I teach, for example, my 8th grade, it's a class called Automation and Robotics. It is very teamwork heavy, and you'd be surprised at the number of students that struggle working in teams and at communicating within those teams. So I feel like, based on what I've heard in the visits that I had, and what I see in my class, I just need to reemphasize what it takes to be successful, and that the skills that I am teaching are very, very relevant to what's in the workforce today.
And I'm Mike Vaughn, Happy Valley, and I intend to spend a lot more time on problem solving. See that a lot of these businesses need problem solvers, and also a lot of the basic skills such as using a ruler, figuring a percentage, things like that.
All right, so our summary here. We all need to work together to make, to ready our students to make Caldwell a great place to live and work, because the fact is, the work is there. It is a great place to live and work. We just have to bridge the gap of the knowledge that our students don't seem to currently have, that they really can have the job that they seem to be dreaming of here with some skills added to their current repertoire. And so we really just want to emphasize the point that it is a great place to work, and we just need to bridge that gap. Thank you.
Last group.
Okay, so we're the last group.